This is Conservative to America. I'm your host, Cole Holcomb, giving you news commentary from the best perspective, the conservative perspective. Today, we are going to start off with the Maduro takedown. During the early morning of January the 3rd, the United States commenced Operation Absolute Resolve. The United States brought forth the mighty hand of our fighting force and showed the world that we are not here to be kicked around anymore, that we are not here to be used and abused anymore, that we are not here to be taken advantage of anymore. And as Marco Rubio said, if you don't know, now you know. Okay, America is no longer the world's punching bag. We are no longer here to be played around with. There are no games whenever the United States start talking. No games whenever the U.S. comes to the table. Okay, this is insane that something uh, that 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 it had to come to this, but it did. Okay, Maduro, it had to come to this. We've been used and abused for so long, and now the United States has risen up, and we have said no more. The funniest thing, though, in all of this is how Democrats have changed their entire position this year. Okay, changed it, did a whole 180 on us. 2025, what was their position? No kings went around America. No kings protests. No kings. No kings. No kings. No kings. Okay, in 2026, what is it? What is their new thing? Oh yeah, yes kings. It's yes kings. They're like, yeah, a dictator isn't that bad. They come to the defense of Maduro. They are coming to the defense of a dictator. It's insane. They call Donald Trump a dictator, who, may I remind you, was elected by a democratic process, unlike Kamala Harris, who they did a coup d'etat on Joe Biden in the middle of the night and made her the party nominee without receiving any votes from the voters. Okay, that sounds kind of like a dictator. That's kind of how dictators come to power. Okay, they just kind of get thrown in there. Never got any votes. Okay, but anyways, she got thrown in. But that's not what I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to talk about Kamala Harris today and all that stuff. But back to they call Donald Trump a dictator, even though he was elected by a democratic process. But when Trump decides to take down a ruthless dictator like Maduro, okay, and they all go to the dictator's defense. They all go to Maduro's defense. Okay, it makes you think maybe, just maybe, they might have an ulterior motive. Maybe. No, they definitely have an ulterior motive. But it's crazy. It's crazy how Democrats think. It's insane. But in all of this, I saw this video. I thought I should show it today. Makes you, if you haven't seen this video, I don't know, every time I watch it, makes you feel super patriotic. So let's go ahead and watch this video.
Por mí, aquí lo espero en Miraflores, no se tarde en llegar, cobarde.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Venga por mí.
And this person right here, Pilot Pete, in the comments says, Trump just can't stop winning. I hope he rescues Cuba next. Me too. I do hope that he comes to the aid of Cuba next. But anyway, so this was great news over the weekend. Great win for the Trump administration. We live in a safe America. Not like Joe Biden's America, where the world just kind of did whatever they wanted to us, where they kicked us around. No, we live in a country ran by Donald Trump, in a safe America. But let's go on. Talking about, Democrats and stuff. Let's talk about Tampon Tim. Tampon Tim decides to drop out. Tampon Tim, a.k.a. Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota, announced today, Monday, January the 5th, that he will not seek re-election for governor of the state of Minnesota. This, of course, comes in wake of fraud allegations of Somali immigrants who have used and abused the system. What system is that? Well, if you haven't heard, I recommend looking up a YouTube video on it. Look up this Somali immigrant Minnesota daycare. Just look up those words, okay? fraud. Look up fraud. Look up Somali fraud, Minnesota. Daycare fraud, Minnesota. Any of that stuff should get you something. But anyways, in Minnesota, crazy things are happening. Somali immigrants, abusing and abusing the system. They are going around and opening up these daycares, taking advantage. No kids in the daycares, making all the money off of it. It's insane. It is absolutely crazy. Uh, this fraud that's happening in Minnesota very well might go down as one of the largest fraud scandals in any one state by an immigrant population in American history. Okay. Officials say that the fraud is still being tabulated and that they speculate it could exceed $1 billion and rise to as high as $9 billion. Billion with a capital B, not million with an M, but billion with a B. This is insane that fraud like this can happen in a first world country like the United States. And you know what? It's great that Tim Walz isn't running for re-election. He's governing his state like it's a third world country. Okay. It's insane. It's crazy. But let's go ahead on to this next story. And it's more kind of shifted in the politics realm in midterms elections. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 2026. The midterms are here. Crazy to say it, but the midterms are here. Major battleground state sees votership. Republicans in North Carolina have officially surpassed Democrats in North Carolina voter registration for the first time in the state's history. The North Carolina Board of Elections data showed a shift of voter registration in the Tar Heel state this month. There are approximately 2.315 million Republicans compared to 2.313 million registered Democrats. This is wonderful news for the GOP as we are officially now in the midterm election year. This is a battleground state. Great news all across the board. This is wonderful for Republicans. This is also great news for former GOP chair and current North Carolina United States Senate candidate Michael Whatley. Michael Whatley, of course, is in a heated battle against former Governor Roy Cooper. But with these numbers, it shows, hey, maybe, as Michael Whatley makes the argument, that voters are rejecting a Roy Cooper Democrat Party. The voters are rejecting the Democratic Party. And you know what? I sure hope that they are. This might be a sign that voters are finally feeling the effect of President Trump's America First policies. So this might be a sign that voters are finally feeling like we are in or are entering the golden age of America. And it might be a sign that they feel better off today than they did a year ago. And let me say this, man, I sure hope so. I hope that this is just a sign that the Republican Party is doing exactly what they need to do, that Americans are winning. And as we look at these numbers, I hope this will transfer over into every single other state. I hope that we will see these numbers in Michigan, that we will see numbers like this in Pennsylvania, in Wisconsin, in a state like Minnesota, okay, and even Republican states like Florida and Texas, that we continue to see Republican numbers rise, in states like Tennessee, okay. I hope that in New Jersey, Republicans continue to go up. I would like to see these numbers go through the roof for Republicans because I am looking at it now. I think that we very well might just see a 2026, as I said back in 2025. I don't know. But these numbers, what we're seeing in our economy, a quick turnaround since November. We were talking about November about how voters aren't feeling it. Okay, let me say a quick economic turnaround since November has occurred. And man, this is wonderful news for the Republican Party. There's still a lot of work to be done. So the pressure's still on, Mr. President. The pressure's still on Congress. But so far, it is looking like a job very well done. Let's go now into economics. In 2025, there was reported good economic numbers in the third quarter. The economy grew faster than expected with an overall rise pace of 4 to maybe 4.5%. Inflation was well below what economists had projected, marking a key success for the Trump administration. Tariffs are turning a profit now for the United States. Gas prices are continuing to fall. I just got a text message from somebody that the gas price in Ohio right now at a station in Ohio, $2.07 a gallon. This is wonderful news. This is winning for America. This is winning for President Trump. This is winning for the Republican Party. You're going to get tired of all the winning. I'm telling you what, this is great, 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 wonderful, wonderful big news. Okay, I love this. We are finally, we as Americans are finally feeling the return. Americans all across this country, they're finally feeling the return on their vote of last year. Don't believe me? Well, then explain, as I was talking about earlier, those numbers in North Carolina. President Trump is doing his job. He's making America a safer place to live in, okay? As we go into 2026, the question now becomes, in this kind of closing part of the video, will Venezuela become a free and prosperous country once again? Will this year be the last we ever hear of Tampon Tim? Will they be able to stop fraud in Minnesota? Will the United States be safer, wealthier, stronger, and greater than ever before? Well, only time will tell, but I will continue to bring you news commentary from the best perspective, the conservative perspective. I am Cole Holcomb, and this is Conservative to America. Happy New Year.